I'm going to show you some different ways to play with Play-Doh. So we're going to take our Play-Doh, and the first thing we're going to do is just squeeze it. Squeeze it with your hand. It's going to squish between your fingers. You want to do this with both hands. So you could pass it back and forth, or you could do it both hands at once. Another thing you can do is to pinch it. So for pinching, we're going to use just our thumb and our pointer finger. Just pinch the Play-Doh. Don't forget to do both hands. Another thing we can do is pinch off a piece or pull off a piece, and we're going to roll a ball. You're going to take your Play-Doh, put it into the palm of your hand, and then your hands are going to move in a circle. Roll, roll, roll. You can roll different sizes depending on the size of Play-Doh. You can also roll a ball with just your thumb, pointer, and middle fingers. Can you do that? Try that one. Moving it around with just those fingers. We can also flatten our Play-Doh. So we're going to do that by pressing on it with our hands. You can use both hands, one hand, the other hand. Once you've pressed it flat, you can poke it. Another thing you can do with this is roll a snake or a log. So you're going to take your Play-Doh, and I like to kind of start it in my hands. So you can move them back and forth, get it started. Set it down, keep moving those hands back and forth. Those hands work together. Kind of move them across your Play-Doh, across this way, as you're rolling back and forth. A fun thing to do with your Play-Doh snake is to cut it. Let's start by cutting it with scissors. So remember, with our scissor cutting, we have our helper hand and our cutting hand. We're going to pick up our scissors, thumb in the little hole, fingers here. When you cut, your thumbs point up. See how they're pointing up with both my hands? Hold my Play-Doh with one hand, open and close the scissors, and cut with the other. Watch your fingers. These fingers of the helper hand kind of move along the Play-Doh as you cut, and snip, snip, snip. Another fun way to cut with Play-Doh is to cut with a plastic knife. So again, we're going to hold the Play-Doh with one hand and cut with the other hand. Move your knife across your Play-Doh. Another thing that we can do with our Play-Doh is find some things to press into our Play-Doh. So I'm going to flatten this one out. And I found some small things just around my house. And we're going to push them into the Play-Doh and see what impression they make. So pushing my frog, little spiky ball, little hippo. We'll get to see his footprints. How about a star? Little dog and a flower. So push them in, and then after you push them in, you get to take them out. So see the little hippo's footprints? The dog's footprints? Let's see what the frog looks like. Another fun thing to do with your Play-Doh is to build a Play-Doh monster. So we're going to take some Play-Doh. We're going to make the monster body or head. And I had some Google eyes and some, so we're going to start with that. Had some beads. I'm going to use those to make some teeth. You can just find some fun items to put into your Play-Doh. Make a silly face. I found some toothpicks. If you're playing with a friend or a sibling, you could make a silly face and then they could copy it and then trade. They make a silly face and you copy it. Another thing we can do with our Play-Doh and our toothpicks and beads is do some counting. So we're going to put our toothpick into our Play-Doh and you can put some beads on. You could actually make this as part of your silly monster if you wanted to. Give it eyes. One way you could do some counting is to roll a dice. Count the number. I got a 6 and put that many number of beads on. So let's see, do I have 6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, one more is 6. If you needed to work on some math, you could have 2 Play-Doh pieces and 2 toothpicks. What if we do some math? Let's see. Let's start with another number. Roll our dice. What are we going to add together? Oh, a 1. Roll our dice. A 2. So that's our second number. Oh, I should have had a third. So we'll do our whole equation. 1 bead and 2 beads is 1, 2, 3. So you could do your math equation. You could work on numbers another way where you build the number. So let's build the number 1. Since we already have a snake, that's pretty easy. Build number 1. Maybe roll 1 Play-Doh ball. You could count up. How about making some letters? Again, we'd need a nice Play-Doh snake for that. Let's make a letter S. S for snake. Or can you form the letters of your name? I bet you can come up with lots of other ideas, but these were just a few to get you started. Have fun.